Hi guys, today I'm going to talk a little bit about what goes inside of my head when I make a choreography for a cover that I do using the speed bags. So each song has its own flavor, its own sets of rhythms, notes, articulations, dynamics, yada yada. But there are some rare occasions where a song has more than that. There are some occasions where a song has a story to tell, and part of that added challenge of translating that aspect of storytelling into speedbag is how I make some of my decisions on how I articulate some of my strikes, some of my hits, the direction in which I hit it, the intensity. So one specific example that I'm going to talk about is going to be the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children version of One Winged Angel. So, to give context and just to not explain the entire video that's corresponding with it, I'm just going to give a very short brief of it. So, it's based in the universe of Final Fantasy VII, a bit after the main events of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is a standalone movie, and the setting of this song is that the protagonist, Cloud Strife, his main villain has essentially resurrected. Okay, I know I'm kind of butchering a few points here and there, but I'm just trying to convey the gist of what the song is doing and relating to the storytelling. Just hang on for a little bit, okay? So, One Winged Angel has roughly 3 sections that I think of when I'm trying to translate it into speedbag. The first section is kind of an imperial march, the feeling of, dread of Sephiroth is back, and I have to put him down again. The second section is pretty much an evolution of the fight. The fight intensifies. The protagonist, Cloud, tries, everything to put him down, but he's just getting slapped. Cloud is losing ground, and he's losing a lot of blood. Okay, and then the third and final section here is that there's a little bit of a reprieve, an epiphany, where Cloud talks with his friend Zack, who has since passed on. He recollects himself, and then he finds the resolve to finally put an end to Sephiroth and pretty much close his trauma there again. So, let's talk about the first section. The first portion of the song is very march-like. It's almost like you're marching in a regiment, steady beats. So, my choreography for that particular section, and even the double marching section where it goes, it's going to be very bare, it's going to be very basic. Why? Because this march setting, this style of, very basic playing, just helps to characterize the dread and just, the the awe and shock of Sephiroth coming back. And I know in my previous videos I've done some different ways to stop the bag, and one of the ideas that I had for this song is within that first section, whenever we hear the phrase Sephiroth and then there's like a sudden break in the song, I said the choir is like gasping, like, and then the music continues. I wanted to capture that essence of that gasp, that stop, that brief pause into speedbag. I tried a couple different options. You guys are very familiar with, I do a lot of spins, right? I didn't feel it was appropriate for this one because even if I do the spin and have that silence on that ball, this feedback is still moving a little bit, right? I wanted something to do a little bit more of a stronger and noble pause. So next thing I considered was doing like a hard, a hard fist stop here, but I figured that's a little too violent right now. You can hear the reverb. So I wanted a kind of a compromise between a muted stop, but something that was a bit imposing, a bit menacing, intimidating. And what better way can do it than I was thinking of just like, a throat choke. So set that off. And then you can see that sound is completely muted. There's no like reverberation or like any, like whenever you stop the fist with the ball with your fist, there's a little bit of reverberation where the ball squeezes between the platform and your fist a little bit. Not so if you do the open palm choke. So that's why on the first section when they do Sephiroth, I chose to use that to mute and kind of capture the mood and kind of the doom of Sephiroth has come in. Okay. The second section here is, it almost feels like it's going into double time. I would just say that they're just doubling their articulation. Like they're using a lot more shorter notes. So if they were using a lot of quarter notes and eighth notes in the first section, they're using a lot of 16th notes in the second section. So that's why I'm doubling my cadence here, which is why I put on, the little red band. And of course in the movie too, Cloud and his friends, they wear that little red band here, right? But I tried doing that and it's just very distracting. So that's why I just put it on my head, okay? And that's why that second section seems like I'm hitting it almost twice as fast, because it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be frantic. Cloud is, desperately trying to, dispatch Sephiroth, and he's actually getting owned. There's this one section too where, Cloud is trying to do, he's got the blue aura around him, and he's about to do kind of an overhead smash leading to his Omni Slash, but then all of a sudden Sephiroth just impales him. So that's why on that particular place in that choreography, I just tried to mimic the motion of, Sephiroth impaling Cloud with his katana, but like that. So this part was like a little bit more of a violent stop. Okay. The transition between the second section and the third section, so that's in the video that I have. That's where I take the bandana off. That's where I take a couple of breaths. And even in the movie here, this lines up with the portion where Cloud goes into a flashback and has a small intimate moment with his friend and mentor Zack. So as Cloud pretty much recollects his resolve, and Zack kind of chides him a little bit and tells him you've got this. So Cloud recollects his determination, and then he goes at it with Sephiroth again, but this time he overcomes, pretty much his own inhibitions. And the Omni Slash that he was trying to do earlier, which was the old way, he now has to use a new version, hence where there's a moment in the movie where he locks his blade into Sephiroth into like a dead stance, and then his Buster Sword disperses into different swords. So I can't do that. Let's be realistic. I'm like awful at video editing, and I think I can't replicate that. And that's okay. I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to work with the limitations on this. But the only thing that I did significantly different on that third section is that there's the recurring thing of where the choir says Sephiroth, and previously I used to just hold it with like the throat kind of choking motion. But this time, since Cloud has pretty much overcome his own, emotions, regained his determination, he doesn't need to stop and hold that though. So on those Sephiroths, I actually punch through those. And even here, because the thing that traumatized him when he reappeared, that was overweighed by his own resolve and the fact that he cherished, everything that Sephiroth had threatened to, make him lose in despair. So I realize I'm probably butchering the description of the Final Fantasy Advent video, so I just like to say as Remedy, please do watch the movie. If not the movie, then at least just the fight scene between Cloud and Sephiroth and Final Fantasy Advent Children. I think that'll make a lot more sense when you see that movie and then you see the speedback cover I did, because there are a lot of motifs that I try to emulate that, because it's pretty rare that you would have a fully animated movie and a full storyboard and animations that line up with the song. So for this particular one, or at least with video game songs in general, if there is a potential storytelling element that can be told, I try my best to capture that. Yes, it's more work on me. Yes, I do have to kind of scratch my head and toss out ideas and try out things that may not have worked and then search for something that's a better fit. But that's fun for me, because then in a way it puts me into the shoes of a producer. I get to also have a say in how I translate and adapt that version of the storytelling into a simple garage, a speedback setup, sweaty Asian here. So, but yeah, didn't mean to babble, but I do hope that this helped provide a little bit of a color and perspective into how and why I arranged the choreography for Final Fantasy VII, the One Wing in the Angel, this way. So I hope you enjoy this perspective. Thank you.